Hi, we're back live with Hugh Burgess from Vindati for a quick follow-up. We'll be happy to take your questions from home via the VME app. So let's jump in. Hugh, thanks for joining us again.
Great to be with you again, Sheila.
So let's just start with what's top of mind for so many folks, and that's COVID-19. Obviously, there's huge impacts on the insurance industry as a whole, and also with respect to builder's risk. So I'm just curious about perhaps some of your observations about how this is affecting builder's risk at this juncture. Are you seeing any or hearing of anything about supply chain issues within the builder's risk space? A slowdown perhaps in building projects, just kind of level set for us where we are from your perspective with builder's risk and COVID-19.
Yeah, it's obviously a very pertinent question in today's times. I'm going to answer it or provide my perspective, really continuing the Insurtech theme we were on from the session, in that from a technology standpoint, we're actually seeing technologically submitted extension requests for builder's risk. In traditional sense, an extension or a project isn't going to end on time, so there's a request to extend the coverage to when they think it will end. The traditional sense is an email or phone call or even a portal type of a process. In today's environment where construction projects and much of the economy is shut down, requests are really spiking, and the ability to handle that in a digital sense is something we're already doing and looking to do a lot. I see that being an opportunity. I think I can't imagine any insurance project that's currently underway. Builder's risk project currently underway, not being impacted in some way by what we're experiencing today. Now, the supply chain impacts, I think there's a lot of good underwriting experts and a lot of good loss control folks who could speak better at that. I try to stick more to the insurance tech side, but certainly there will be a supply chain, and perhaps it'll be a delayed supply reaction. I did enjoy the conference so far as an attendee, as well as participating now. And I've heard several people speaking about how the labor supply was ready in a difficult situation and not as robust as it had been in the past. So labor supply, particularly quality of labor supply, it was interesting to learn here at the conference that with unemployment rates, maybe that can increase supply and versus the supply needs that have been to met to some extent, but it'll be interesting how that plays out. But I can't imagine any builder's risk project not being impacted the way we're all being impacted these days.
Of course. Thank you. We have a couple questions that have come in. One of them is single sign-on a possible answer to the portal fatigue that you mentioned in our presentation?
I don't know. Great question. I mean, the portal fatigue is not a single sign-on to get whoever's portal it is to be simpler. The fatigue that's happening is because carrier A has a portal, carrier B has a portal, carrier C has a portal, carrier D has a portal, and carrier E has a portal that just came out and is better than A. I don't know that a single sign-on, you have sign-on going across carrier portals. That they all come with a different security. They all come with different user IDs and passwords. No one portal handles everybody's project. What would likely be a better solution is a technology across carrier, the universal technology that carriers are doing developing with their own, bringing their own appetites to the marketplace, if you will, rather than each carrier having a different portal. That I think would help the fatigue that's out there and allow agents and brokers relief from always having to deal with different portals and frankly changing portals as new portals come out.
Great. So another question related to agents and brokers actually has come in. So with simplification of the application process and the gathering of the needed underwriting information from multiple sources, how do you see the value that an agent or broker can bring to the process?
Yeah, great, good question. And I thought we covered that well in the session to some extent. Insurtech is more than disrupting distribution, and there is an aspect of disruption to distribution going on. And I'll leave that aside. There's a healthy debate about where distribution is headed. I have some opinions about that, the need still for a professional agent and broker to underlie every builder's risk in transaction. For a list of reasons, but one main one that I'll point to is the claim advocacy that a lot of agents and brokers take on behalf of their clients. The builder's risk policy, and maybe Insurtech will describe it too, but today's average insurance policy is 50 pages long. It's not just a complicated application, which we talked about in the session, but there's also a lengthy insurance contract that's providing the actual coverage to the risk. It's a very difficult thing to ask the project owner or a contractor, GC of the project, to completely and be knowledgeable at the time when they need it, in an urgent crisis time where a claim or something impacting and they need to actually do. So the part of the insurance agent is a difficult one for Insurtech to take over. I still see a lot of B2B needs, if you will, for builder risk insurance.
Great. So we talked in our session primarily around builder's risk, but certainly there's other great avenues for Insurtech and insurance. So what other specific commercial lines or inland marine lines do you see the Insurtech solution best suited for? I know we spoke about cyber briefly in the presentation. So other thoughts around classes or insurance types that are ripe for disruption by Insurtech?
Yeah, the one that jumps into my mind to answer that question is contractors equipment. I'm sure there's a lot of others. I don't know that contractors equipment is all that far behind auto in terms of applicability of Insurtech. We're using a lot of auto valuation, a lot of auto data, a lot of GPS and sensor technology in autos to do auto insurance. I think all of that and more is applicable to contractors equipment insurance as well, not just auto. Valuations and online marketplaces for the buying and selling of new and old and used contractors equipment is happening all of it. So there is actually real-time market valuation going on. So insure to value, it's those of us as old-time underwriters have been grappling with for a long time, make sure equipment or other pieces of other types of property are insured properly to value, can be replaced by a objective, data-driven, real-time marketplace valuation, so that the coverage piece of equipment and the owner of the piece of equipment can have peace of mind that they're getting the proper amount of coverage when there is a claim, and the underwriter can be comforted by the fact that there is a proper amount of proper valuation going on and underlying the calculation of the premium. That's there's contractors equipment is the one that jumps to my mind, but the same sort of thing can happen really in most, if not all, classes of inland.
Got it. Great. So what are some of your observations about how carriers employ Insurtech, MGA specifically, within their existing ecosystems? So, where do you fit in, Vindati, for example, with some of the carriers that you're working with?
Vindati fits in that MGA category that when we split the types of Insurtechs into their categories. Vindati is clearly in that MGA space, and the MGA space perhaps is is the broadest one within the broad range of categories of Insurtech. So we have the ability to be distribution, we have the ability to be underwriting, we have the ability to be technology providers and data. In fact, Vindati is Latin for winning through data, so that's hopefully helps convey where we can carriers. It's difficult in many companies to keep technology. They've got enough resources and enough budgets concentrated on the existing and legacy systems and environments that they do their business quite well and successfully on today. It's difficult then to, at the same time, keep up with cutting edge technology and finding ways to access new sources of data and digitize things. That's a whole nother budget, a whole nother resource, a whole nother culture in many ways. It's really why Insurtech is the technology industry disrupting the insurance industry, because the technology industry in many ways is better at technology, right? That's their industry. So they're bringing their industry into our industry. And that's, very difficult thing for the insurance industry, to keep up with the technology coming in from the technology industry. So Insurtechs are a facilitator in many ways, so that insurance companies don't have to fund, don't have to resource, hire. They can pay, they can try out, and they can experiment to some extent. You see a variety of different ways that carriers are working in partnership with Insurtechs. Our model is to be hired by carriers as an MGA, and we provide data and technology to deliver it in the marine insurance and other products like we talked about. But there's other Insurtechs that can be hired in a variety of different ways depending on carriers' needs.
Great. So are there any limitations that you see in terms of Insurtech's use within the inland marine space?
Yes. I mean, we talked about it, you and I talked about it in the session about how larger and complex risks are a difficult thing to be completely data-driven, to be completely technology-driven. The need for an on-site inspection or the need for some type of customization or specific analysis, because the risk is so unique and the data isn't inherently predictive as it would be for common risks. It's difficult for Insurtech to extend to those spaces, and in fact, sometimes Insurtech is a very good complement for the smaller, simpler business, while the insurance company and the insurance professionals concentrate on the larger, more complex risk, and the two kind of have a nice harmony between it and allow for growth in both sectors in a very advantageous way. But that's that's where the limitations are. Beyond that, it can get very scientific, science fiction like in where this could ultimately go. We'll have to go for Hollywood for a better idea of where this could potentially go, and beaming to insurance projects in the future to put out a fire. It's just a joke, but you really could, have this could really evolve into things beyond my immediate need to immediate capability of predicting.
It's pretty exciting when you think about some of the ways that we can impact insurance in the future via some of the technology and the data. So really great insights. We've learned a lot from this session. We really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.